Hi y'all, and welcome to Nails in the Coffin. I'm Leanne, and this is where I paint my nails and talk true crime, ghost stories, and urban legends. I'm actually going to get this series kicked off right by talking about the Mothman. I'm going to actually paint a full set of press-ons because I have my nails already done and I have worked them around. I don't want to take them off, and they're amazing. So I'm going to be doing a full scene of the Mothman on a full set of press-ons. If y'all want to check out the description box, I will link everything for all of the products that I've used, including the link for this amazing shirt. So y'all can get one too. So hope y'all enjoy. Okay, so on November 12th, 1966, in a cemetery near Clendenin, West Virginia, a grave digger spotted a large figure soar quickly overhead. And in several articles that I read, it was either him by himself or it was him and four other grave diggers that were digging together. So there's a possibility there of more eyewitnesses, but just this one guy so far just came forward and was like, hey, want to let y'all know something large is in the sky. So 3 days later, in nearby Point Pleasant, West Virginia, two couples noticed a winged 6 or 7 foot tall figure standing in front of their car. And I believe in the movie The Mothman Prophecies, which, if y'all have not watched The Mothman Prophecies, let me just take a beat right here and tell you, it is such a good movie. It has Richard Gere in it, Laura Linney, and it's just tits. It's just a great movie and just pretty much sums up what I'm talking about perfectly. Anyways, so in the Mothman Prophecies, I believe that these couples were like at some sort of makeout point and they were like making out in the car and they like look up and see the Mothman like peeping in on them. Like, can you imagine just like making out with somebody in the back of the car? You look up and there's like even like a human being peeping at you. Like, let's say the cops roll up on you and they peep in on you. That's scary as hell. But imagine looking up and you see the Mothman. Just like, oh no, I just cannot. Anyways, so believe they're making out in the back of the car and look up Mothman. Bam, in the window. So these eyewitnesses come forward and they report that the creature has red eyes, approximately 6 inches apart, a wingspan of 10 feet, and was trying to avoid light. So like even like he was around the car, but he was trying to avoid the headlights specifically. Did not want to get in the light. Additionally, they reported that the creature had the ability to fly at high speeds, guesstimated at about 100 miles per hour. Although he was a clumsy runner and not very grounded. So like anytime he was on the ground, he was just like clumsy, did not have it shit together. And they could confidently report that because they said that they were trying to escape this creature, like leaving town, and the Mothman just like flew, like chased after their car, flying after them. They looked down at their speed and they're going approximately 100 miles an hour, and the Mothman is keeping up with them in the sky before he disappears in a field. And I've also read that he like kind of flew into a field. Not sure if he just like flew away or just like dipped down into the field and just like hid and just kind of disappeared. So as more sightings were reported around town, the creature was dubbed the Mothman. And in the subsequent 3 days of the initial reports, 8 more sightings were reported, including 2 firemen who say that they saw what seemed to be a very large bird with red eyes. So it was like reputable people around town who were, not normally, like the kooks of the town. It was like people that, have seemed level-headed, grounded, not really like superstitious anyway, were coming forward saying that they had seen sightings of a creature with red eyes. There was another sighting by Newell Partridge, and he told of strange patterns that appeared on the television, followed by a mysterious sound coming from outside. And when Newell went and investigated the noise, which, sorry, Newell, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. That just like terrifies me. You hear like a weird noise outside and you're gonna go and look. Okay, anyways. So he goes outside and is like shining a flashlight in the direction of the sound, like where he heard the sound. And he saw two red eyes resembling bicycle reflectors looking back at him. I'm sorry, just like nope, and just not not down with it. So Newell also reported that the Mothman took his poor pup as a meal. So far, that Newell's dog is the only being to have been reported taken by the Mothman that I could find. So on December 16th, 1967, a little more than a year after the initial sightings, traffic on the Silver Bridge was particularly bad. Now, the Silver Bridge was built in 1928. So all these sightings are happening in the 60s. The bridge was built in the 20s. And it was built to connect Point Pleasant, West Virginia to Gallipolis, Ohio. And it was jam-packed with cars. The initial design of the bridge was meant for a more primitive and like lighter car, and not really for the models of car that was built in the 60s. So there was like no fail-safe measures taken. So there was no like, okay, if something fails, we're going to have a backup in place so that everything doesn't just come tumbling down. But that's exactly what happened. On that fateful day, a single eye bar near the top of the bridge on the Ohio side cracked, the chain snapped, and the bridge fell to pieces, plunging cars and pedestrians into the river. 46 people died that day, and many of people have linked the year-long sightings of the Mothman as an omen or a warning of the bridge's collapse. So since that happened, the sightings of the Mothman have been associated as a bad omen, which, who knows. So many hypothesize that the Mothman is nothing more than a local sandhill crane, which stands as tall as the average adult man and has bright red flesh around its eyes, which, I mean, that's scary as hell in itself. But some further guess that the cranes are deformed due to the nearby bunkers known as the TNT area. And the TNT area was used for manufacturing munitions during World War II, and it's been suggested that they have leaked toxic materials into the neighboring wildlife preserve. Which I'm not like totally sold on because, as I'm going to explain later, the Mothman's like sighted in more areas than just this TNT area. Yeah, and I'm not so pro that I'm going to be researching the migration patterns of sandhill crane, but I would be interested to know, like, do the sandhill cranes also go to like Chicago, where it has been sighted? Just a note. So that being said, I'm Team Mothman, and I'm not really going to delve into the whole debunking theories. Y'all can look those up yourself. Because I'm like 100% convinced Mothman's a thing. So the Mothman has also, like I said, has been sighted in the Chicago area with many recent reports and videos and pictures. Some videos and pictures have been, debunked by professional people, the pros, and like, oh, it's an owl carrying a snake or whatever. But there was this like one video that I saw, and it just, I don't know, it just really looks like legs. It doesn't look like a snake or a frog. It looks like, I mean, the legs on this thing were like eerily long. And I'll go ahead and note in the description box all the places that all of my sources, including links to that video that I saw, because I mean, y'all tell me what you think. Those legs just look creepy. So many have reported that the creature is between 6 and 10 feet tall with a 10-foot or more wingspan. It's been compared to a bat, a large owl, or a pterosaur. Additionally, that it has leather-like skin, so kind of like a bat-like skin with bat-like wings and no neck. But I've seen bats in the sky. They're like tiny. They're not, I don't know, vampire bats, I guess. But, okay. So, I came across this site that has a whole bunch of different first-hand accounts, and there was one that was really cool. So on August 21st, 2017, during a solar eclipse. Now, I don't know what y'all know about eclipses, but like eclipse season is real. Eclipse season is like shadow times, astrologically weird. Spoiler alert, I'm super into like astrology kinds of stuff, so I'm going to note those sorts of things. So on August 21st, 2017, during a solar eclipse, the following was reported. An anonymous person reported, "We were watching and observing as the moon began its transit when we heard a very loud scream. This sounded like squeaky truck brakes that squealed when you're pressing hard on them. At first we thought that's what it was, ... Maybe a CTA bus or a big truck with brakes that needed changing or maintenance. We heard it again. This time it lasted about 3 seconds, whereas the previous sound was brief. I looked up to see a large object flying low over the docks that stick out into Burnham Harbor from across the water. This object looked like a large black bat, but also had humanoid features such as pronounced arms and legs." So that is just creepy. Also, in all of the things that I've read about Mothman is that he flies around bodies of water. So like in West Virginia, like the Point Pleasant area, he was flying, around that area is the Ohio River. And then, of course, Chicago has like lots of bodies of water. So that is the Mothman. And tell me what y'all think. And definitely leave a comment if you have seen the Mothman, because I want to know. So I'm so excited about how these turned out. I'll be sure to edit in some like legit photos, but I just can't even, like, oh my god. Yeah, and I did the bridge off camera because your girl was getting tired. I say like all around, this took about an hour and a half. Not too bad. What would I have to say? Hope y'all enjoyed the stories, and thanks for bearing with me on the production end of things. I'm super excited to be doing this for you guys, and hope to be doing more nail designs, more cool stories. And if y'all have any nail inspos, or you have any kind of stories that you want me to cover, leave a comment and let me know, and I can get working on those for y'all. So what did we learn? Don't go driving at night. Do not be making out in the back of cars. Basically just stay home and don't leave your house. And if you do leave your house, make sure to stay late. Thanks so much for joining, and we'll see you next time. Bye.